Do we have sound now? It makes a lot of sense to actually make sure the microphone is turned on. That definitely improves the quality of a live stream. Everybody's saying no sound. Can you hear me now? Anybody? Good now. Okay. Whew. Okay. It just goes to show you what the last couple of weeks have been like for me. Okay, so let's start this all over again. Welcome, folks. Tank Talk Live. This is something that we do every single Saturday. No video or sound. Well, that's just somebody playing games. We do this every single Thursday night at 9 p.m. here on the KGTropicals YouTube channel. I have a lot of fun with this. This is where we get to talk all different kinds of things, fish keeping related, and we have all kinds of fun, and we do it live. I also take this opportunity to update you on things that are going on in my fish room here, projects that I'm working on, and all that other good kind of stuff. And that's going to be something that we're going to talk about here in the very early parts of this live stream is a question that I have for you, and we'll see how that goes. So first things first, I apologize about last week. It's one of those deals where life kind of got in the way, and I'll explain myself here. I don't want to go too far into it because it's boring. I have made a huge adjustment to my actual full-time job, my job that pays the bills and puts food on the table. I needed to start bringing in some more money. I mean, we all could use more money, right? So I made a big jump with my other business. If you're not aware, I have a furniture repair business. I go to people's houses and I fix their homes. And I do work for a lot of different companies. I picked up a new one that has basically, well, it's doubled, if not tripled my workload. So it's great for me and everything else, but it is quite the adjustment. So that's why last week, didn't happen. So hopefully that won't continue happening. We can, do this every single week because this is something that I look forward to. I enjoy talking to y'all about fish keeping stuff. Now, I wanted to remind you, I'm not going to do this. I don't want to do this Q&A style really anymore. Only because I don't think that there's a question that I haven't answered, or there's a question that I haven't told you I don't know the answer to. And that gets kind of old, doing that over and over and over and over again, answering the same questions in every single episode. So instead, what I'd like to do is have you bring to me topics, something that we can spend some time talking on. Bring that to the stream and then put it in the comments, and we'll talk about it. We'll have a good time talking about it. There's no limitations to what you can ask. Ask whatever you want to ask. If I don't know the answer to it, I probably just won't even acknowledge it because I don't want to make myself look stupid. So, okay. Quick, stupid little update. If you recall, 2 weeks ago in the live stream, I talked about how I was in the market for a new van. Well, I bought one. I ended up going with the Dodge, or excuse me, I should call it the Ram ProMaster City. So there you go. Anybody that was following along with that wanted to know the decision that I made, that's the one I went with. And there's a long story as to why that is, but it is what it is. Really excited about it, and it's working extremely well for my business. Now, there's another thing that I want to mention here. We're 126 subscribers away from 50,000. I can't even imagine that. It's absolutely ridiculous. That's going to be a big deal for me to see that go from starting with a 4 to starting with a 5. I don't know. There's something about that's just cool. It's going to be really cool to see that. I have not been putting out a ton of content lately, so the subscriber count has been growing steadily, but not as fast as if I was doing 5 or 6 videos a week like Corey does. But then, it is what it is. But I'm going to do as many as I can, and I want to make sure that you're aware the new things that are happening with my personal life is not going to affect KGTropicals. I'm not phasing KGTropicals out or anything like that. No way. KGTropicals is still where my heart is. It's where my passion is. So nothing's going to be affected there other than, over the course of the next couple of weeks, it's probably going to be, I'm only going to be putting out these live streams because my days are just completely full with transitioning to this new thing. So anyway, once I get kind of on a routine and a schedule, then I'll be able to start putting out more stuff. But 126 away from 50,000, that's just ridiculous. I can't wait to see that number. I was talking about trying to figure out something fun to do for 50,000 subscribers. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm going to do something special. I was going to do a tattoo of my logo. I don't know. We'll see. We'll have some fun with it. But, you know, it's going to be an exciting day. And it'd be really cool if it's something where I'm not working or I don't have anything going on. If I'm just here at the house, when it's about to cross that 50,000 mark, maybe I'll come on live and we'll experience it together. I don't know. I'm just talking just to hear myself talk now. So, all right, let's get into the question that I have for you today. And I'm going to go as long as I can here tonight, folks. I am fighting off a cold, and it is not cooperating very well for me. I'm at that stage where it's in my throat, and I don't know. It's my throat, I think, is going to start hurting pretty good after not too long. But I'm definitely not getting a tattoo on my forehead. No, that would not happen. I mean, it's a billboard already. You want me to advertise something on it? Oh, good grief. But the question that I have for you, I have to kind of lead into the question by saying I had a company reach out to me, I don't know, 4 or 5 days ago, maybe last week. I don't know. It's all a big blur to me now. But I had a company reach out to me. This is a company that specializes in manufacturing home aquaponics systems. Basically, a complete setup that you put in your home, and you can create this aquaponics system right there in your house. Comes with everything that you need to start it up. They emailed me and said, hey, you know, what would you think about us sending you one of these? And you can try it out and you can show it on your channel and see how you like it. And, you know, it'll be something fun for you. It'll be good exposure for us. You know, everything will be wonderful. And I thought about it for a minute and I said, you know, first of all, that's really cool that you have somebody that you've never met, never seen before, emails you and says, hey, we want to send you free stuff. That's pretty cool. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying that's pretty cool that we've gotten to that place. But then I thought of it and I said, you know what? I don't know a thing about aquaponics. I don't know really what you would do it for. I don't know what is the appeal of it. I mean, I understand the concept of it. You're using the aquarium water and the nitrate levels and everything to fertilize plants and you know, experience this huge growth of plants. You can grow little herb gardens and all kinds of stuff in these aquaponic systems. I understand that, but I've never understood how it would really apply to me. Start the counter now of how long it takes for somebody to grow marijuana, because somebody's going to say that. I don't have an marijuana anywhere in the tank behind me. I don't know who just commented that, but it's only going to take a matter of a couple of seconds before somebody says, you should plant marijuana in there, whatever. But the concept of an aquaponic system, I understand. And it's cool. And I like the idea of it. It's never really been something that I've thought about doing. So when they sent me this email, I thought, well, that's really cool, but I don't know. I mean, I've been doing a lot of new things on my channel. Started planted tanks right behind me here. Started my first saltwater tank. Now I have 2 saltwater tanks. I've done this whole nano tank thing, which is exciting and fun. I'm enjoying it like you wouldn't even believe. I've been doing all of these new things, and I've heard from a lot of people, well, you know, I came to your channel because you were a cichlid guy, and now you're doing plants, and you're doing salt, and you're doing this and doing that. I'm not interested anymore. Goodbye. I don't want to scare a bunch of people away. If you unsubscribe because you dislike my personality, well, I mean, that is what it is. I'm not going to change that for you, but I don't want to scare people away by bringing in all these new things. Now, of course, I'm not talking about starting to do videos about video games or, you know, going something completely off the rails from what I'm doing now. We're still talking about fish keeping. We're still talking about in-home fish keeping and all of the ways that you can expand that. So it's something that's definitely connected to this hobby. I don't see it being something that would scare people away. But I told the guy, look, let me do this. Let me announce it on one of my live streams, and let's see what the people say. If people are interested in that, if people would enjoy watching me start up this aquaponics system and go with that and learn from me learning it, then I would say, yeah, sure, let's go ahead and do it. But if there's going to be, everybody's going to be like, no, who cares about all that? Nobody cares about aquaponics. No, you know, we're not here to see that. You know, aquaponics is cool, but we don't want to see you do that. We want to see you talk about cichlids and Oscars. And if everybody's saying that, then I don't want these people to waste their money by sending me something. I hope that makes sense. The only way I want to do it is if I can enjoy it and you can enjoy it with me. That's the only way I would want to do something like this. I don't want to waste anybody's time. I don't want to waste anybody's money. These are not little nano systems. I mean, these are like elaborate systems, and I'm sure they're not cheap. I mean, they're you know, I don't want to say they're expensive because I don't even know how much they are, but I can't imagine them being something that, you know, you can pick up for nickels and dimes. It's an elaborate system. I don't want them to waste all that money if nobody's going to watch my videos that I do about it. So, all right, let's see what everybody's saying. If, okay, I've got yes, do it. Yes, yes, go for it. It's something different. Go for it. Okay. Oh, yay. Somebody's having fun with Kevin Green. Shocker. I'd love to hear about aquaponics. Anything discus is interesting, but aquaponics doesn't have anything to do with discus. But okay, thank you very much, because there's discus right there. So there you go. What is aquaponic? Yeah. See, Neil, that's kind of what I said at first. I knew what it was, but I didn't know a whole lot about it. So, you know, it was one of those things. I was like, I don't know. I don't know if this is something that would work on my channel. But I tell you what, I'm not going to sit here and read what everybody's saying about this question that I just asked you, because I would rather not just sit here and read comments the whole time. Instead, what I'm going to do is kind of monitor it over the next few days. And also, I told the company, I said, look, go to this video a few days after it goes up and see what people are saying. And if it's a very positive thing, then I would say, yeah, let's go for it. But if everybody's like, no, poo-poo, you know, we don't want to see that, then I don't want you to waste your money. So I'll monitor it and we'll see what happens. So the question, wow. The question is, if I was to get a small in-home aquaponics system sent to me, would that be something that you would be interested in watching? Because maybe you are interested in getting into aquaponics. Maybe you're interested in a system like this and you'd like to see how something like this works. That's the whole reason for doing it. This is a brand new company that just started up, a bunch of young guys that are really ambitious, and I'm excited to watch what they're doing. I'd love to be a part of that, and I'd love to be a part of being able to show it to the world that they have these systems out there. I think it'd be really cool to be able to do that. If you think that it would be cool too, and you would want to see something like that, let me know. In the comment section, you can put it in the comments here. I see a lot of people are commenting very positively about it. Lots of yeses, and that's awesome. I'm going to see that, but it's really going to be about what the people say in the comments on the video after the replay. You know, the replay goes up, because we get a whole lot more people that watch it on the replay than watch it here live. So there you go. There's probably going to be 900 to 1,000 people that are going to watch this live. They're going to come and go. You know, they're not going to stay for the whole thing. But there's going to be probably 4,000 people that'll watch it in the next 7 days. So we'll see what happens over the course of the next week or so, and then I'll be able to tell them, you know, hey, I think it'd be worth it if you sent something like that. Or I might tell them, nah, I don't think my audience is really going to care all that much about it. So there you go. Okay, update on my fish room. First thing, I have to do something. I have to step away for 20 seconds. You'll understand why as soon as I get back. So Carl goes outside every once in a while, and he roams around and he says hi to all the neighbors, and he wanders the neighborhood a little bit, and then he comes back. And whenever he comes back, he always comes back to the basement door, and it's cold outside. And I just saw him staring in the basement door, and I was like, I can't leave the cat outside. No way. He's going to be cold out there. So I thought I would let him in and let him say hi to all of you. So there we go. Something funny about this cat. Let me pan the camera up a little bit. You see how I've got plastic on the ceiling? I did that because I used to have 140 something tanks down here in this basement when we were still selling fish. We were selling fish out of the basement here. So I did that for humidity control, and I just never took it down. Why should I? Carl likes to climb up my rack that I have in the back, which I have all the products on that I sell on KGTropicals.com. He goes up there. Yes, that was a quick little plug, but he climbs up the rack and he goes up and he goes across on top of the plastic. It's the funniest thing in the world. I just love cats. I never thought I would ever say that, but you know, hey, I love animals, period. I don't really care what they are. There was a bobcat loose from the zoo here a few days ago, and Lisa wanted to go out and look for it and bring it home. So an update on my tanks here. Everything is going extremely well. The only tank that I'm having any kind of problems with in here right now is the reef tank. It's not, I can't really call it a reef yet. There's only 3, there's supposed to be 4 corals in there. But the most interesting thing that I've had happen is one of my corals just disappeared. It vanished. It's the mushroom, a green mushroom, and it was beautiful, and it's gone. I don't know where it went. I mean, I know that corals are something that's still very new to me. It moved, you know, it would move around. It'd be over on this rock, and then on the next day it would be laying more over on this side. And I think it just kind of got up and walked away, and I haven't seen it. It might be back behind the rocks or something. I don't know. But the biggest struggle, other than corals suddenly disappearing, the biggest struggle that I'm having is with algae. And I'm going to show it to you, because if you are somebody that is considering your first reef tank, you should see this, because this is what the tank will look like. I don't know how good it's going to show up on camera. That's about as good as I'm going to be able to get you. I'll try to go closer. We'll give you an update on the edge there too. Well, you can't really see it. That's unfortunate. You can't really see the algae. On here, it actually looks pretty good, but I promise you, in real life, it does not. There's a lot of brown algae on the sand, which you can't see right now. That's the biggest struggle that I'm having. And there is the edge. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. All of the plants in there from Aquarium Co-op doing just fine. There's a couple of the dwarf Sagittarius that are, you know, turning a little bit yellow, but I'm not going to hit the panic button yet. The tank is already filling out really fast. You can see if you joined me for the live aquascaping of that tank, it already looks more full. The, you know, things, nothing has really filled in or anything, but some of the plants, especially the wisteria, have gotten bigger already. And so they're already kind of giving you that impression that the tank has filled out. So it's really cool. Not having any problems in that tank at all. Have not added any little creatures or anything yet. Been talking with Rob from Flip Aquatics about some shrimp, but between my schedule and his schedule, it's just not something that we've been able to make happen yet. So there will be some fish in there soon. There will be some shrimp in there soon, or just a bunch of shrimp and no fish. I don't know, but we'll have to see what's going on there. But I'm excited about it. I am having so much fun with these nano tanks, folks. They're a blast. And the thing I love about them the most, I mean, I did a whole live stream about these a couple of weeks ago. The thing I love about them the most is that it's so fast to maintain them. I mean, I've got 4, and I can do overall maintenance on all 4 of them in like a half an hour. I mean, it's nothing. I love that. I love how fast it is. I mean, doing maintenance is something that I enjoy doing. It's not something that I'm scared of, but it's nice to be able to do it really quick and get really good results. So really enjoying the nano tanks, having a lot of fun with them. The big tanks, they're all doing fine. I mean, no major deaths or anything, no major additions. Basically been going with the flow and just riding them out the way they are right now. So did have a wild and crazy idea the other day when I was chatting with my moderators on the Facebook group. And I shouldn't even say this because then people are going to be like, yeah, you should do that. You should do that. I was trying to think of a way to manage these two tanks to kind of combine them into one. I don't really want to put the Angels with the Discus, so I'd have to figure something out there. But I was thinking about clearing out one of these tanks and emptying it completely of all decor, no decor whatsoever, to where it's just the black background in the tank, and fill it. Are you ready for this? Fill it with nothing but yellow labs. Now, I know that sounds crazy because yellow labs are one of those fish that a lot of people, especially the elitists in this hobby, would look at yellow labs as, oh, they're beginner fish and all that. I don't care. I love yellow labs. I've always been enamored by those fish. And to me, the idea of a black tank, maybe even switch out the substrate to a black sand, all black with just nothing but like 45 yellow labs in there, give me a break. That would look really, really cool. I don't know. I mean, it was one of those ideas that came and went pretty fast, but tell me what you think of that. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I don't know if I'm going to do it. I mean, there's a few people that I know that breed yellow labs, and I could probably get just an overwhelming amount of fry from them and just put a bunch of them in there and let them do their thing. And, you know, if you put 30 or 40 in there, you're never going to have a shortage of yellow labs because they're going to breed like crazy, and you just have yellow labs that, you understand what I'm trying to say here? So there you go. But no major additions to these tanks. I will be doing something soon. We want to go up and spend some time with Hans here soon. And I'm still fantasizing about maybe taking a trip out to Utah to Live Fish Direct and see their facility, and also maybe pick up some fish, but it's not like I'm going to drive them right home. I don't know. I have been talking with the owner of Live Fish Direct for a couple of years now to maybe go out there and you know, do a couple of videos out there and stuff like that. But anyway, I don't even know why I just mentioned that. So that's what's going on here. That's what's going on with everything. It is time now to turn to the comment section. And once again, let me know what you think about the aquaponics idea. I really do want to get your feedback on that. Not necessarily in here in the chat. I mean, if you're here and you want to say something, go right ahead. But I'm really looking for it more in the comment section of the actual video, the replay, because that's where it's going to stick. If you comment here, it disappears once I turn it off from being live. I should do blood shrimp for the saltwater tank. I have a fire shrimp. Are they the same thing or are they different? I mean, my fire shrimp is screaming red. He's absolutely beautiful. The only downside to him is that he hides all the time, and that's a bummer. But anyway, let's see. You could do aquaponics with Gelitochromis mallory. You don't see much of them, and they have a little cult following. You'd also boost your African cichlid community. I don't think I need to really go hardcore after the African cichlid community. I think I'm pretty well known in there, but I don't dislike that idea. I have thought about Julie's, so that might be something for it. If aquaponics is something that y'all are not familiar with, this system is basically 2 tanks. The bottom tank being the place where you have fish. It's a fish tank. And then you cycle the water through another tank on the top, which is where you would grow all of your plants. And there's the lighting up there and everything else. And so you have this small tank. And I think just from looking at the pictures, I think that the tank in this system is probably a 20 to 40 gallon. I don't know. It's hard to gauge in the pictures. So, I mean, a small fish like Julie's might work for something like that. We'll have to see. It's not a bad idea. True, Kevin. Nobody wants a Millochromis just because they are rare. I would say, what's everybody talking about in here? I really enjoy your show and had a question. What is the best way to reintroduce your female after I've had her in a 20-gallon for 2 weeks with her babies? That is one of those things that can go very well. It can go very bad, because we know that when you're just introducing one fish into an African cichlid tank, whether they're male or female, it can go bad pretty fast. They can turn on that fish, and being gone for 2 weeks, it's almost like they've never been in there before. When they go back in, it's not like they say, hey, she's back, yay, the party can start again. It's not like that at all. Instead, they can actually turn on her very fast and kill her. So I like to do things, if you're really nervous about it, I like to do things like maybe rearrange the tank a little bit. Let me turn this, now that the basketball game's off, let me turn this TV off. My Wizards won again. How about that? Where was I? I like to do things like moving the decorations around a little bit, change the environment in the tank, do a large water change, and then put her in as you're filling it back up again, and then feed them. And so you're basically creating all of this chaos. You're diverting the attention of the fish that want to beat her up. Instead, they're going to go off and search for the food and, explore the new environment and all of that. That should help. I hope that helps with you. So somebody had sent me actually on Facebook, and I told them to do it on here because I was probably going to forget, but I'm going to do it anyway. Okay, so I got 2 interesting ideas for little topics here that we can talk about. And when I say topics that we can talk about, I'm talking about we can have a conversation about, not just listen to me because I know everything. And come on, I'm not that kind of guy. I'm talking more, let's have a conversation about this. You can give your opinions about it, and then I'll certainly share mine. One of those questions is, not questions, but topic ideas. How about mistakes that everyone makes in this hobby? And that's a great one. I've actually done a video on this. I've done the biggest mistakes. I've done the biggest myths in the fish keeping hobby. And everything, of course, is based on my experience and based on my opinions. But obviously, you have the number one mistake, which is overfeeding fish. I mean, every single person in this hobby has probably done that, because a lot of people get their first fish tank when they're a kid. They don't know any better. Nobody told them not to do that. And boom, you put half the bag of fish food in there because you say your fish are hungry, and you end up killing everybody. That is wow. Oh, that was one person saying bye a whole bunch of times. So that is, of course, the most common one. But I think a couple more obvious ones are ones that are obvious, but I still think they're the most common problems in this, and not only problems, but mistakes. And that would be putting the wrong fish in the wrong tank and putting the wrong fish with the wrong fish. So mixing fish that shouldn't be mixed together. I'm not going to go through the whole debate of all of these. I'm not going to give examples. I'm just saying there are certain fish that should not go with certain other fish. We all know what those are. If you don't know what those are, look them up before you spend any money on fish, and not only waste your money, but also jeopardize a life. Do your research before you do that. But then also putting the fish in the wrong tank. The whole idea behind putting the Oscar in the 20-gallon tank. That's the most common sense, easiest one to, the biggest mistake that's made. I think that aside from goldfish, Oscars are probably one of the most abused fish in this hobby, and it's very rarely intentional. It's because people don't know any better. You go to the fish store, they're this big and they're $4, and you're like, aren't those just adorable? And you buy them not realizing that they become these giant monsters. But they can be one of the most rewarding fish in the hobby. I almost dropped a tear when my Oscar went in this tank. I mean, he became a fixture in this fish room. I loved that fish so much. There's a lot of fish that will do that. So I'm definitely a sucker for Oscars. I feel like Oscars should be taken care of better than they are. But somebody mentioned common pleco. That's another one. Yes, that's a great example. I mean, these are all examples of fish that are, by a lot of people, most of the time, put in tanks that are not appropriate for those fish. The Oscar in the 20-gallon. And then you have the Oscar with the Jack Dempsey with a pleco, the common pleco, all in a 20-gallon tank. I mean, you see that more than you know. I go into 7 to 8 houses a day. I see a lot of fish tanks. I just saw one today, was halfway down the water, and the water was so far down that the filter was just off. And it was probably because the filter was making so much noise that they didn't want to hear anymore, so they just turned it off, or it just burnt up completely, and the water's halfway down, still fish in there. There are more people in this, I don't even want to call it in this hobby, because I don't think you're a hobbyist if you're letting your tank get that way. There are more people who own fish tanks that do that kind of stuff than you can even imagine. If you have a job going into people's houses, if you work in the service industry like I do, then you know, because you see it. They're all over, and it's unfortunate. But when you see that, to where a fish is being mistreated that way, and it's a fish that should never have been in that tank to begin with, that's a heartbreaker. And I hate to see that. So I think that those, to me, are the most common mistakes. And the interesting thing about this question that he asked was, how about mistakes that everyone makes? And I'm going to go ahead and throw all of those in there, because I think that maybe not as much anymore, anymore, with new people that are coming into this hobby. Like if you just started keeping fish a year ago, or even 2 years ago, 3 years ago, people back in my day, when you started, you learned everything on your own, and you made all of these mistakes that I just talked about. If you're somebody that's, over the age of 30 and you've been keeping fish, you've probably made every mistake that I just talked about, because you didn't know any better. You didn't have anybody to tell you any different. Whereas now, anytime you ever look into anything, what are you going to do? You're going to go on your tablet or your phone or your computer, and you're going to research those things. And it doesn't take more than 5 minutes of researching aquariums these days, with the information that's available to everybody, to learn those 3 mistakes that you shouldn't make. So that's a good thing for the new people coming into the hobby. But if you're somebody that has been in this hobby for a long time, you've probably made all of those mistakes, and that's why I highlighted those. Let's see if we got any other ones. I forgot to plug my heater back in on my Geo tank and realized that after 24 hours. That is a very common mistake. Another one, I haven't heard a lot of people mention this, but I've done this one too. I have. It is the glass tube heater that is hanging vertically, like that one in that tank, and there's one down here too. I don't know if you can see it. I'm not a dentist. I'm not used to doing these things upside down. But you see that's a 400-watt heater right there, and it's on right now. It's one of the glass tube heaters. Very common. You've probably got some yourself, and they don't turn them off or make sure that they're fully submerged and do a big water change. Now, if you're changing water with water that's the same exact temperature that's in your tank, it's probably not going to be a huge problem. But if that heater's running and you drain your tank halfway down and it sits there for half an hour to an hour like that, those heaters can pop. They can pop when they either they're not submerged, or when you go to fill it back up again. And if that water is a big temperature change, boom, you can pop them right there in the tank. Makes a huge mess. You can kill your fish. That's a mistake that this guy right here has made. Did a water change. Lisa and I were maintaining, for a very brief time, maintaining a tank at our local elementary school. And we went in one day, and we could only refill the tank with really, really cold water. And this dummy forgot to unplug the heater or completely submerge it while doing the water change. And as soon as I started filling it back up again, you heard it pop, and that was a huge disaster. So that's another one. Forgetting to plug the heater back in is a big one, but also leaving it plugged in and end up breaking it. That's another big one. And it's one of those things that sometimes it can happen and people don't even realize that the heater has broken. And the odds of the fish cutting themselves, I mean, that's pretty slim. I don't know. Depends on what you have, I guess. But the idea, the whole idea that this thing is broken and not functioning anymore, but you think it's functioning, and your water drops down to whatever degrees, and your fish all end up dying because they're too cold. That could be a huge thing. Or the exposure of that heater creates an electrical problem and sends electricity through the tank and fries all of your fish. So many nightmares could happen with heaters. So heaters are probably one of those things that cause more fish death than any other equipment, I would think. I don't know that as fact. I don't have any kind of statistics to back that up, but I'm just saying that's one of those. I'm getting a lot of condensation in my heaters. Yeah, that's going to mean it's time to start thinking about buying a new one because water's getting up in there, and that's definitely not going to be a good thing. Another thing that somebody brought up on Facebook, and this is something I've never really thought of before, although I do have a tank right there that has one of these. Why do people put foam sheets under their tank? What's the purpose? What kind of benefit do you get from doing that? And again, I'm just talking about my experience here, my opinion here, not really my experience, because that's the first tank I've done it on. I think there's a couple of benefits to it that I'm going to call benefit. It can act as a insulator, something to help keep the heat in the tank, even though so much of it is escaping from the top. I know that. But it's something that can provide a little bit more of an insulator down there on the bottom of the tank. But I think that the reason why most people do it, and he specifically mentioned the foam sheets, when you have foam that is flexible, it's going to flatten out any kind of imperfections that are on the surface or on the tank. So if you put your tank on an uneven surface, you might not know it. The surface might go up and down a little bit, and everywhere where it's making contact with the stand, your tank is making contact with the stand. Every one of those gaps is an area where there's more pressure being put on that area, more pressure being put on that seam that's only being held together by silicone, and it could rupture the tank and could break things. I've never had a tank explode on me. I've never had one break on me. Never. And I've had literally probably close to 1,000 tanks in my time doing this, and I've never had one blow up on me. But I'm not telling you it can't happen. And if you have an uneven surface that your tank is on, it's much more likely for something like that to happen. I'm a woodworker, so I always make my stands flat. But having that barrier in between, that foam barrier that's a little bit flexible, can even all of that out and allow the pressure of the glass to be evenly distributed all the way around the box. And that's a huge help. That lessens the possibility that something like that could happen. Something catastrophic like a tank exploding could happen as the tank behind him blows. Can you imagine that? I mean, I'm going to tell you what my reaction would be if that happened right now. My reaction would be this. Really? Only to me something like that would happen live on YouTube. I don't know. I don't know if it would be a bad thing, though, because I think that that would be the kind of thing that would instantaneously go viral throughout the entire planet, and I'd probably get thousands and thousands of subscribers from it. So I don't know. I don't know that it would work out to be a horrible thing. It'd be horrible for the fish. It'd be a horrible mess to clean up. But, I don't know. It might work out pretty well for the old view count and subscriber count. So anyway, how many of us got electrocuted from internal filter heaters? I've gotten it before. Never like, oh my God, I don't have hair to stand up, but never, crazy like the guy on Home Alone. But you know what I'm talking about. Harry on Home Alone when he grabs the faucet and turns into a skeleton. Never like that, but I've had it before where I put my hand in the water. I'm like, man, something ain't right there. There's a little bit of something going on in there. And, that was from a faulty heater. Fortunately, I was able to catch it before anything got real severe. So I've had that. I've also had that from a light, and it was not a light submerged in the water. I'm an idiot, but I'm not that much of an idiot. This is a scenario where I had one of those box-style aquarium lights, the plastic aquarium lights with a fluorescent bulb in it, sitting on the glass canopy of my tank. And a lot of water had gotten up there. And I guess water had kind of traveled into the electrical components of that. And because of that, the electric current was traveling through all of that water that was on top of the tank, and it was dripping down into the tank. And so I would get that on me, and I'd be like, man, what the hell is this? I feel like I'm getting a little jolt. It was nothing uncomfortable, not even as much as you would get the 9-volt battery putting it on your tongue. Not even like that, but it was, I could feel it. There was something there. And yeah, that's what it was from. It took me a while to figure that one out. But yeah, I mean, I guess you could file that under one of those big mistakes that fish keepers can make, because that one, well, it can kill you. Because if you hit it at the right spot and the water has gone into the wrong area, I mean, you could send yourself into cardiac arrest. I mean, that could be that could be rough. Yes, Kevin, you have seen me drop glass before, and that did in fact happen. That didn't happen live, but I didn't edit it out of the video. Yep, I dropped one of the glass canopies from that tank right there, and no, it was from that tank. Blew up everywhere. What a mess. Horrible. Kid came downstairs. Oh my God, are you okay? But I didn't delete that. I kept it in there. Hey, John, today I shot a video, and in my video, I had a EVP answer my question. I don't know. I don't know what that means. Maybe I'm just dumb. I've had flower lighting track electric to the water. Flower lighting. Y'all messing with me tonight? I think I've forgotten to put the chlorinator in a few times, but luckily no problem. That's another very, very common mistake. And I too have made that mistake. I think that's another one we've probably all made. Fortunately, if you have a brand new tank that's like on the edge of, you know, of breaking bad, that could be a serious problem. But if your tank is well established, like if I did that in one of these that have been, I mean, that tank's literally been running for like 10 years. I mean, I don't know that I would have a huge problem on my hands, but if your tank is on the edge, you know, then it certainly could be a problem. But yeah, that is a good example of a problem that a lot of us have made. This guy's putting his address in the comments now. Really? You're asking for it, my friend. Don't you know that this is the internet? Oh my goodness. People, people, people. You get mini electric shocks if you bite your nails and you put your hand into the marine tank. Yeah, well, you can't see it on there, but yeah, I am somebody that has a lot of anxiety. My nails are wrecked. So yeah, I definitely get that. But I get that in all of the tanks. And it's just because it's sensitive and I'm stupid. I did on a 1,000-watt JBJ heater. Whoa, I don't know what that means. What kind of fish is your favorite? I'm going to stick with the one that I've said forever, which is the silver arowana. It's always been my favorite, and I think it's always going to be my favorite. And one day there will be one in my life again. Stone Cold Steve Austin intro. Yeah, there you go. There's that breaking glass. Perfect. Oh, okay. Somebody's asking for an address to a fish store. Nobody was putting their actual address in there. Do I ever plan on mass breeding mystery snails? No, that would be a no. That's going to be a no. Surge protectors or multi-outlet flat on the floor is very dangerous. Should water enter? Yes, that is a very good point. And I have had a couple of power strips sizzling on me before. So yeah, that is a great point you make there. What about black arowanas? I love them. Then when they grow big, they look just like silvers, though. Fin's a little bit different. So, yeah, I love them. I think they're awesome. But to me, I'd be happy with either one. John, did you see Joey's red arowana? And I have not seen that. Another one is using Windex on your glass tops. Yes, thank you, Kevin. Wow, see, this is why I wanted to do it this way. Instead of just answering question after question after question, you guys can participate. You guys, I did it. I did that. But that's another one. Not only using Windex on your glass tops, I call them glass canopies, but using chemicals like that anywhere around tanks. I've heard nightmare stories about the pest control guy coming by the house and spraying and having problems because tanks are really, really low. A good friend of mine actually treats our house. He owns, his family owns the pest control here in King George, and he's always very, very careful when he comes down here and does his thing. He actually treats the basement different than he does the rest of the house. But yeah, cleaners, carpet treatments, air fresheners. I've seen air fresheners that go psst every 10 minutes or whatever it is, sitting right next to aquariums, shooting it right in there. Yes, not just Windex, but all different kinds of chemicals that could be accidentally thrown into the tank is definitely a big mistake that we've all made. I love hearing that I'm not the only one that has made those mistakes. I mean, Dan, look, there are things in this hobby that if you go along with the way things have always been, everybody's going to make these mistakes. If you're a research junkie, if you're somebody that spends half your life online, which we all do now, you're going to do your research and you're going to learn not to make those mistakes. But I'm willing to bet that you'll probably still make those mistakes because this hobby is a hobby that's very much driven on impulse. And if you're at the store and you see that gorgeous fish and you're just like, you can't take your mind off of it, you completely obsess over it. You go home that day and you can't sleep because you're like, oh my God, somebody else is going to buy it. No, I have to go get it. And you kind of get that tunnel vision and you lose track of the fact that you're buying a fish that you really shouldn't buy. I've made that mistake. We've all done it. I mean, we could go through the huge list of things that we all could do to that are common mistakes in this hobby that we'll probably all make. And you know what? If you learn from those mistakes and you don't make those mistakes again, then it's not a bad thing, except for the fish that you bought, which you've tortured. But, you know, I've always maintained that if I make a mistake, I will own it. I will say I made a mistake. I will, if I wronged someone, I will tell them I'm wrong and I will apologize to them and fix the problem. I mean, that's kind of how my philosophy has always been that way. Give me the opportunity, I will fix the problem, and I will learn from it. And this is the same kind of a thing. This hobby, you can't start a fish tank and not make mistakes. It's not possible. You're going to start a fish tank. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to put fish in there that you shouldn't. You're going to feed them too much. You're going to not do water changes for a month. You're going to listen to that bald guy on YouTube because he thinks he knows what he's talking about. You're going to do all kinds of things. You're going to make mistakes. There's no way around it. You have to accept that and you have to learn from it. Is KG Cichlids part of KGTropicals? No, that's his initials. KGTropicals is King George Tropicals. That's what it stands for because I live in the town of King George in Virginia. But KG Cichlids, that's his initials. I'm not going to say his name because I'm not going to do that. But it's just trust me. It's his initials. Oh, no, Mary, what did you do? Let's see. What did Mary do? Let's go back and see what's up with Mary. See if I can scroll back. How far back did it go? Okay, can't find it. Oh, well. What'd you do, Mary? Kevin's a celeb tonight. Yeah. Not vacuuming your gravel in a non-planted tank. Yeah, that's a mistake if you let it go too long. I mean, I'm one of those people that, depending on your situation, you can sometimes go without vacuuming the gravel. One water change. Once you get to that second one, though, Jack, you better start doing your job. I mean, I've in some situations you can get away with it. I am in no way saying you should not vacuum or substrate, but But yeah, if you're keeping a highly populated African cichlid tank and you're not vacuuming your substrate, you're doing it wrong. So, and you are a cichlid guy, Kevin Green. So yeah, I said his name. I did. I said it. So my 21-year-old, when she was 6, cleaned the fish tank with Dawn dish. So you know what? Kids are notorious for making fish keeping mistakes, but they don't do it on purpose. They do it because they're trying to be nice and the fish are hungry or the fish are dirty. Lisa and I had this fantastic idea, and it's something I wish we had done when we had the shop and all 5 of our kids were living at home with us. One of them is with the Marine Corps. He's gone. He's not gone. He hasn't left us, but he doesn't live with us. He's in military barracks. But we had all 5 of them. And then we had a couple of kids that are friends of ours, kids. We were going to do an entire video of the 10 most common fish keeping mistakes made by children. And we were going to actually have the kids do that. We were going to fill a bottle of Dawn, a Dawn bottle with water with methylene blue in it to make it look like it's the actual cleaner, and have the kid do that. We were going to have the kids overfeed the tanks, which then we'd take it right back out again. We were going to do all kinds of stuff like that and actually have the kids do them. It was going to be so much fun. But to coordinate something like that is just absolutely out of control. We tried to do it. We couldn't make it happen. So, it didn't ever come to fruition, but I sure do wish it would have. Somebody just asked a question about killing fish, and then it was deleted. I wonder if it's the fact that the name is Useless Money. Is that like somebody spamming, or is that somebody that doesn't believe in commerce, or what is that? I don't know. I was going to answer it, but I didn't really see it. All I saw was, do you believe in killing fish? But I don't, if that's going to answer your question. Had a young cousin that fed his goldfish Oreos. Yeah, you know what? I had a customer come in when we had our shop. If you're new to me and you've watched a lot of my older videos, you saw we used to have a shop. We don't have it anymore, unfortunately. I'm sorry. We don't have our shop anymore, and that's okay. But we got a lot of crazy stories when people would come into the store. One of the things that was told to us was that this lady loved her Oscar so much, she chopped up a hot dog every day and fed her Oscar a hot dog. And she only fed him Nathan's because, they're 100% beef. She wants to know what's going in her fish, but that was every day. And she had her Oscar for years. I don't remember how many years, but she had it for a long time, feeding it a chopped up hot dog. I mean, I don't think that is crazy, a hot dog. I mean, it's processed meat. Fish food is processed meat. I don't know that but there's some fish I certainly wouldn't condone that type of behavior. But anyway, long ago, my fid kid. Ooh, it's getting late. My kid fed my tank her Cheerios. Yeah, see, that's adorable. I mean, that's just cute. Be glad it was Oreos and not her bottle of perfume or something. I feed my African cichlids my leftovers. Yeah, see, here we go. This is what I like, folks. This is what we're doing. We're having a conversation here instead of it just being me answering the same questions over and over and over and over again. Children like to toss coins in the tanks. Yep, that's very true. Feeder fish or pellets? Is that a question? What is that? I don't like feeder fish. I think they're stupid. I think they're dangerous. And I'm not entertained by watching fish get eaten by other fish. So I'm going to say pellets if you're asking which I prefer. And apparently William Feltner agrees. KG, I fear that coming. My daughter is almost 2. Yeah, you know what? With kids, you do have to be careful because the kids will get overzealous and they'll want to help out mom and dad and they're thinking they're doing the right thing. And, you just do have to stay on top of them. I would definitely do your best to not have lids within reach of your 2-year-old. Like this tank low like this, that could be a problem. But then you might be one of those parents, and I can't say that I would disagree with you at all, but the idea of having a tank that high would terrify you because the kid starts hanging on it and it falls. My God, there's so many things to be scared of when it comes to being a parent, and that's certainly one of them. You have to be smart when you have this hobby with kids, not only because of, tragic things like that. And I'm sure if you looked it up, there probably is a story like that around somewhere where a child pulled a tank down on them. There's everything else, refrigerators. There's all those other stories. I'm sure there's one about a kid pulling a tank over on him, but I think something like that is extraordinarily rare. I think, though, that a tank like that, real low, which a 2-year-old could just open the lid and say, hey, fishy, fishy, and start God knows what, you got to watch out for that. I say pep, but it's probably more like grabbing. Huh? What's that mean? Okay. I have dedicated fish room with a couple padlocks on it. If you have kids, yeah. It's a shame that that you would have to do that, but you got to do what you got to do. All right. I want to get a new interesting fish for my 36-gallon. Any suggestions? Oh my goodness. No, there's so many. there's just so many right now. I would tell you, I don't know what I would tell you. I don't know, because there's just so much. I'm very excited about the 2 nano tanks that I have right now, which your 36-gallon is not a nano tank, but it's smaller. The community fish and the plants and stuff like that is something I'm having a lot of fun with right now. So I would say, something along those lines, a small community fish type thing. I think it'd be fun. My girlfriend feed my fish shrimp. There's nothing wrong with that. I did that with my arowanas and my stingrays. Fed them by hand, not live shrimp. Frozen shrimp, you buy them. We have a Food Lion 3 miles from our house, and every week they would always be doing a buy one get one free of shrimp of a particular size, and these big bags, giant bags of frozen shrimp. So whatever size they were offering at the time, we would get 2 bags of it for the price of one, and we would thaw them out in a cup of water while we're feeding all the other fish. By the time we're done, they're thawed out, and we drop them in and watch the arowanas and the stingrays eat them up. Lots of fun. Unfortunately, I gotta go. Just wanted to say your vids are awesome. I just subs. Have a great day. Well, thank you. Denreva, I'm killing your name. I'm sorry, but thank you. Thank you for coming by and hanging out with us. I feed my clownfish and banging cardinal frozen shrimp. Yeah, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with feeding frozen shrimp. Folks, most fish food has shrimp in it. So, it's, there you go. So, okay, look, folks, this has been fun. This is the kind of way I want these live streams to go, where we're having a conversation. I think that's fun. I think it's better than just Q&A every single episode. What can I put with my Oscar? How many of this? What size tank for this? That gets boring after a while, doesn't it? It's the same question over and over and over again. This is more fun, I think. We can have a conversation. We can go back and forth with each other. And I think it's fun. So I don't know what you think about that. Apparently Tyler's tank thinks it's a debacle. Debesh? He think? Oh, no. I'm saying it wrong. But what up, Debesh? Movie trivia here for you, folks, because I don't know what Debesh, I don't know what that means. But, all right, Jobin, what movie is that from? And I'll give you another hint. All right, see you later, Mimish. What movie is that from? Come on now. Y'all got to answer it, because I'm going to sign off here in just a couple of minutes. So you got to answer it before I do. So look, folks, I'm going to say it again. This has been a lot of fun. Okay, you were saying somebody's name. I got you. This has been fun. This is the way I want it to be, because I think it's a good time doing it this way. I have enjoyed it, but my throat is pretty much wrecked. It is Paul Rudd. Yes. The movie is I Love You, Man, but it was Paul Rudd that said it. Yes. I pissed my pants when I saw, all right, Mimish, I laugh at stupid things, But anyway, I've enjoyed this very much, but I'm hurting right now. See? And it's been an extremely long day. We've been going for an hour. That's about all I can do today because I'm hurting. I promise you I will be back next week. I'm going to be, oh God, I'm going to be back Tuesday in the Facebook group. If you're not a member over there yet, you need to join. Link is at the very top of the description down below. Or it might be about halfway down. I'm not sure. But it says join the Tank Talk Facebook group. Go over there, join it if you're not in it already. We have a lot of fun over there. We have got a lot of great people over there. Our mods, my mods, do a phenomenal job. They do a better job than I do, folks, at maintaining the peace and keeping everybody happy in there. KG Cichlids is one of them. Paul Martin, Candy Overhauls. There's a whole bunch of them. Katie Shields is in here right now. She helps us out over there. Ben Ochart. There's a bunch of people that help us out in the group, and they do a phenomenal job. So if you're looking for a good place to go where you can hang out and talk about fish and not get slammed and ridiculed by everybody else in the group, come over there. Tank Talk Facebook group. We have a lot of fun, and I live stream every Tuesday night at 9 o'clock over there. And that's not going to change. All these things I've been telling you about with my new transition at my full-time job and all that kind of stuff, it's not going to impact the live streams at all. So there you go. And of course, KGTropicals.com is still going full force. Been packing orders every single day. That's part of my job, folks. If you order off KGTropicals.com, I will pack it up, ship it out the very next morning, or even the same day, depending on when you put it in, and get that out to you as fast as possible. Again, nothing changes when it comes to KG Tropicals. So there you go. I've had all I can do tonight. I hope you've had fun because I know I certainly have. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me, and I look forward to talking to you again next Thursday. Don't forget, bring your topics, and we'll have fun next week just like we did this week.